Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to another episode of LEARNin Carlsbad Live. Let's get it going. Welcome to LEARNin Carlsbad Live, everybody. My name is Aris Anagnos. I am Mr. Carlsbad real estate broker here in town, and hope everyone's summer is off to a great start. The weather's beautiful here in Carlsbad. My favorite time to be here of the year. Water's great, water's clear, so you just can't beat it. We are Mr. Carlsbad Real Estate. My brother and I, John, he's not on today. We are brokers here locally, 15 years, over 120 million in transactions closed for our clients. So if you are buying or selling in the near future, we are here to help you live limitless with all things real estate. So lots to get going on the show today, guys. And this show, we want to thank you for tuning in, but it's really dedicated to all things Carlsbad in the community here. We feature community leaders. We feature local news, real estate news, of course, which we're going to break down. And so with all of our LEARNin Local platforms, we really want to just bring you guys the news of what's going on and talk about what's going on locally in the community so that you're getting the right information. So with that, I want to bring in our amazing host here as well, Ruben.
Facilitator. I'm
yes.
Actually, you're the host.
That's right. But you were the creator of this awesome platform that we all use. So
hey, listen, yes. It wouldn't happen if you weren't here. I've said it once. I'm going to say it again. Real estate's local, and local is real estate, right? So we're creating this platform, which presents itself live, creates a space in the platform for people like yourself, Aris, to essentially promote yourself. We want to give you the voice, right? All too often, there are cities that just don't have the representation of the people that are actually serving the community, right? And I can't think of, being in the industry of lending for as long as I've been in the past 20 years. I mean, I can't think of anything worse than getting the advice of someone about something I might drop a considerable amount of money for from someone who actually isn't in the community. So that's just an example of what we're trying to do. It seems as if it's a novel idea, but we're working towards making it something that people really understand. Without someone like you as an educator on this particular show, I'm investing in it, obviously hoping to create the platform, and with engineers, like Emerson in the background, making it all work. We want to give the information to the local communities that they really need to know.
Absolutely.
And again, it wouldn't happen if you weren't here, man. So I really
appreciate it. So with that being said, I think we're looking for more professionals who are local that want to be a part of LEARNin Carlsbad Live. And I know we have other different areas that we're covering with the LEARNin Local Network as well. But yes, we're looking for restaurant owners, attorneys, all sorts of different local professionals so that we can bring the community leaders here to the folks in the community.
100%. I'm gonna make it something. I'm gonna bring something up that I think makes sense for people, and about why this is so important. Actually, was at the Carlsbad Mall not that long ago. I don't try to go to the malls, the indoor malls, that often, and hopefully they do something with that. I think they're trying to update that, right, at some point. That's right.
Yep.
But man, all too often you go into malls that don't even have any people working in them.
Yes, that's true.
Isn't that weird? So that's just an example of, like, I don't know. I don't necessarily feel like it's it's probably not a local mom and pop who's putting that putting that shop in there.
Of course,
right? Right? Because, like, if it was a local mom and pop, you'd probably see them in the store. Right?
That's true.
So this is the reason why Learning Carlsbad Live exists, is that we really want to get people out there that represent the city, so they can promote the city and give information about the city. So without further ado, let's get it rolling. There's like 3 segments that we really hope to really achieve, and I think that every person in every city wants to know what's happening, the quality of life in the city. For this show, it's called Inside Carlsbad, the growth and lifestyle. So tell me,
Yeah,
you're the host. You have the ability.
What's going on? Yes, let's jump into it. So, right now it's summertime, and one of the great things about Carlsbad is there's always activities. The city has one of my favorite things is they have a Friday night concert series in the park, which is really great. So during the summer, they get all sorts of different acts to come and play on Friday nights. So I'm looking forward to, there's a brass band that's coming up. So that'll be fun. But as far as developments go, the big news that kind of shook the community last week was that a new 397 housing development is going to go in sort of right behind Palomar Airport on Salk and El Camino Real. And this is in terms of this city keeping up with, and a lot of the development that we see going on in the village and stuff is the city trying to keep up with the SB statewide 79 law for more housing, so that they're in compliance with those things. So a lot of this stuff, there's pros and cons to it. On the one hand, we need development. We have a shortage of housing. I think estimates are we're about 15 years underbuilt for the population demand across all of Southern California. But on the con side of that, a lot of these projects are kind of just getting rushed through. And then I think a controversial thing as well is that the density bonus that some of these developers are getting is much more than I think what the city is signed up for, or folks are willing to handle. So not everyone in the community is on board with it. And, that's certainly going to be a lot of units. And then right there on El Camino Real, I mean, we know that's a busy stretch of road. So that could cause some more traffic there for sure.
Yeah, I know for sure. I mean, as much as people want housing units, Aris, it's like, they also don't want, they also don't want new things built, what I mean? To create that havoc, especially, you talk about parking and traffic. I mean, I see it all the time. We're like right neighbor, where you butt Encinitas, and I go through Encinitas and do a lot of things in Encinitas, and man, they are having a boom.
Yes,
like crazy. So yeah, no, that's we dropped the link in the comments. You guys can go check that out. But I mean, we want to present that as a positive as much as.
No, I mean, I think, generally, it's going to be good for the economy locally of the city. And then we do want to shout out to the Coast News, and I believe Cameron Adams that had that article reporting on the 397 units as well.
Perfect. Well, hey, I mean, we need it. So, let's welcome some more Carlsbad residents. Right.
Absolutely.
So perfect. All right. Well, hey, let's get on to what's happening in the market. As far as obviously, as the initial host of Learning Carlsbad Live, you can't help talk about real estate. So obviously, a lot of the news is real estate related.
Yes.
Let's just get to it. I think it's important. So, what kind of things are selling in Carlsbad? What's
Yeah, so I think we covered it last week. The detached single family home market, right, is moving very quickly. Condos and townhomes, to a lesser degree. So we've got this is just the last 7 days. So last week we covered the month, previous month. Now we're just kind of breaking it down over the last 7 days to you guys. So here in Carlsbad over the last 7 days for condos and townhomes, there's about 15 new. So that's a decent amount here in Carlsbad, 15 new condos that came on the market. And I believe 23 in the last 7 days have sold or are in escrow with an accepted offer. So that's a good amount of movement there. You see the average price is just under 900,000 for condo townhome in Carlsbad. I would say that's pretty on track with what you'll find. And then for the single family detached home market update over the last 7 days, we've had 42 sold and pending in the last 7 days. That's a lot. And just under 20 that were just brought to the market. So 18. So there are currently 18 in the last 17 days that were just put on the market. And then you're seeing that demand for those detached homes in Carlsbad just continuing to go up. I think last week on the show, we were talking about the month of May, and your average price was about 1.816 mil. Now we're looking at 1.9, just over 1.9 mil. So just in the last couple of weeks here, some more movement upwards, and I don't see that changing, just because again, supply and demand.
Right.
And, we're sort of in the prime time summer months here. And then shifting over to the income properties, which I want to bring on as well. So these are like your duplex, triplex, fourplex, multifamily properties. Just in the last 7 days, nothing has sold, and there's no escrows in the last 7 days. But we do have 4 new multifamily properties, all in the village in Carlsbad, that came on the market with the average price starting at $3.5 million. So a much higher price point for those kinds of properties.
Would you say, I know that we're kind of insulated here in Carlsbad and even regionally in North County and San Diego, but based off that activity in the past week, 42 sold and pending. That seems like a lot in a week.
That is a lot. Yeah, no, I mean, that's what I was saying. And I think last week we were on the show reviewing the month of May. It was at about a 67% rate for detached single family homes. Okay, for the month of May, which is pretty strong for sellers to have it moving. That means that many homes listed and sold, 67% of them. But that's an even higher ratio. I mean, you're looking at 18 versus 42. That's very, I think, right around 73%. So that's 74%. That's very strong for sellers. And yeah, as we go into the summer, what typically happens is we come out into August, then things start to slow down. We start to get into the holiday market. Things will slow down, but it just because more people are not selling during that time. But just the amount of inventory that we have is going to keep those prices high.
Yeah, let's pull up one of these listings that that did sell. Can you?
This was a property that sold back in May on Ladera Court with our office, and again, right there you see it, 1.95. Very nice home with some luxury features. Does have a pool, single story home as well, which are really, again, hard to find, and those are, I would say, even more impacted when it comes to inventory. And a lot of folks are looking for that single story in a home as they want to age in the home and not have to worry about any health issues with stairs or multi-generational family. Again, they don't want to have any issue with stairs. So those kinds of homes definitely go for a premium as well.
Mm-hmm. Would you say that price per square foot on that one sold is typical, or that sold more on that?
I think it definitely sold a little higher than what we would typically see. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, cool. Let's talk a little bit more. Let's go on to the next topic that we like to cover every week, which is essentially economic development. Right? We've covered quality of life, covered the trends, but what do you from your perspective, what do you want to point out that might be something?
Well, I think Carlsbad is it's really a strong economic driver in San Diego County. It's the second largest economy in the county, right behind San Diego. So I think most folks might assume that would be La Jolla or something like that. It's actually Carlsbad. And I think if I recall correctly, the fiscal report for last year was the Carlsbad did about 18 billion with a B in business here. So there's a lot of really strong biotech companies here, a lot of strong industry corporations here. And that's going to continue to be the case, I think, for a lot of reasons, with the business parks that we have, the community relationships that we have. And I think just to, again, show you the amount of money that is driving in Carlsbad. We were just talking about it before the show, but back, I think, May 29th, the Beacon Mall over in La Costa ended up trading, I think, for, what was it, 91.3 million. So that's huge. If you folks have been over to the Beacon Mall, very nice mall, and that ended up changing ownership about a week ago. They sold it for a whopping $91.3 million. So I think we can see that there's a lot of driving forces for the business here in Carlsbad.
That's yikes. Yeah, when you brought that to my attention just now for the show, I guess I'm not shocked, because they did a really, really, really good job.
It is
on updating that.
Yes.
And on top of that, they've brought in, I live right down the street from this place, and they've brought in a lot of good businesses. I know, is it Trek? I know there's a Trek down there. There's Jenny's Ice Cream. There's obviously
there's an Equinox. Yeah.
Equinox, the Pit Fire is right there.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot about the Equinox. Oh my God.
Yeah. So it's got some really good tenants in there.
Yeah. On top of that, they have, that has to be the flagship location, flagship store inside. Yes. Yeah. And then not only that, they have Tesla chargers, which is honestly becoming way more, way more of a reason for people to visit. Whenever I need to charge my Model 3, I'm like, where am I going to go for 45 minutes and spend money?
Where am I going to go? Where are you going to go? You're going to go. Yeah.
So it's just like, it's kind of genius, to be honest.
No, I think it's very smart. Yeah. They put some of those chargers over at the outlets mall as well. So yeah, it's a good thing to do if you got to charge up your EV there.
100%. So I know that we had also talked about the interest rates here. Did you want to say anything specific as it regards?
Yeah, I think just quickly, I think, and this, even better than me, Ruben, being in the lending side, the rates have gone back up. Again, we saw that, I think it's hard to believe, about 3 months ago now, they were below 6%, everybody. And now we're back to the mid sixes. So kind of just more of what we've seen, trying to keep pace with inflation, even with the new, Fed chair being in there. Doesn't seem like that's really going to change anytime soon. Of course, that famous last words, but I think we would all welcome a a drop in rates, but I don't see that being the case. I think this is kind of what we're going to be dealing with. They may even shoot back up to 7. I wouldn't be shocked, just given the pace of inflation keeps going this way.
Yeah, well, not even just that. The last job report was actually double what they had thought what they had thought it was going to be.
Right.
So less of a reason for them to even reduce rates at this point.
Even less so. And so I think if you're someone who's obviously thinking about refinancing, wouldn't recommend it. You're probably locked into something much better. But if you're someone who's thinking about buying, that's when we need to have these conversations about buying down rates, potential ARM options that could be out there, different sort of scenarios that we can do so that we can get you into the property that you need to get into sooner, and you're not playing the waiting for rates game.
100%. Yeah. No, unfortunately, it's a tough pill to swallow with mortgage rates. I mean, cost of capital is high for not only the potential homeowner, but for businesses. So as much as,
and it feels like we've been around this number now since, I don't know, what would you say, 2023, that we've been sort of maybe even part of 2022.
Yeah, for sure.
It's sort of the end of the pandemic. And then it seemed like we've been stuck, right around this. Every time it tries to dip, into 5, it just shoots right back up, folks, I think this is just what we're going to be dealing with for the foreseeable future.
It is what it is. Just got to keep putting one foot in front of the other. So, that's that. I really appreciate that. Again, the whole scope of what we're working to create on LEARNin Carlsbad Live is essentially providing the information that anybody, whether you be a homeowner, potential homeowner, whether you have a business here, want to be able to provide that information from the people who are in the city itself. Right. So really appreciate it. Aris. Let's get into, Connect in Carlsbad, which is essentially talking about events that might be coming up you're interested in potentially promoting, events that you're going to be at, Aris. Where are you going to be at?
I'm all over the place, my friend. So like I mentioned in the community park, they have concerts during the summer. So for any country music fans, on the 19th at the Stagecoach Community Park, they're having the Pistol Blonde. I guess it's a tribute for women country music. So there you go. I'm sure you'll be at that, Ruben.
Oh yeah.
I think I want to go check out the Chunky Hustle Brass Band on the 26th at the Stagecoach Community Park. That looks like they got a big horn section.
Why don't we get to set up an event where you're playing and we can talk about you?
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
That's something I want to see. Well,
that would be fun.
Well, we actually have an active listing here that you wanted to promote as well. Let's talk about that really quick as an event.
Yeah, this property on Ficus Place here, listed with our office. It's 3 beds, 2 baths. It does have an HOA. It's not too bad though. It's only $305 a month. So it's nicely tucked away in a private gated community. So this is a very nice home that's ready for somebody to come in. And this is one of the townhomes that we have available. So it just came on the market about 6 days ago. So definitely check that one out, everybody.
That's $300 a month HOA seems pretty low, wouldn't you say?
That's pretty reasonable. Yeah, I would say.
Yeah. No, that's good to know. Let's see if there's any other Carlsbad events. I know that there's one that I wasn't sure whether or not I wanted to promote, but there always seems to be a new local business, promoting a happy hour, right? That's the reason why we want to, really encourage local businesses to be on the show, because quite frankly, we want them to be the voice of what LEARNin Carlsbad Live actually ends up becoming as well, right? This is
absolutely.
There's just way too many way too many things that we can discuss, but you know, for your benefit, you're here, you're starting the show. We're going to talk about a lot of things active in real estate. Let's see if we have any comments that we want to answer. You know what? I wanted to mention this too, but maybe I'll just ask this, Aris. Is there local, like, are there community event sites that obviously don't exist as a podcast, but like, you know, almost present like great information about the Carlsbad community that you would recommend that we can just drop in the link here?
There's a couple that come to mind. One of our favorite nonprofit organizations is and I recommend everybody check them out, is the Agua Hedionda Foundation. They do a lot of good work to keep the Hedionda Lagoon clean and you know, full of life. And they also have like a child care after school program that really is quite helpful to a lot of folks in the community with kids who are working. And they have a great center for kids. And they always do really great events as well. At the end of summer, I'll be at, they have an annual sort of summer celebration. It's typically in August. And they always have a funny theme. So I can't remember what the theme is this year, but last year it was Barbie. So Rebecca and I, she went as Barbie and I was Ken. So there you go.
Did you do the hair blonde as well, or did you keep
I didn't dye my hair blonde, no. But yeah, it was a fun time. So they always throw a great party.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah, no, part of what we want this podcast to really be is the way that, you know, folks are able to connect first virtually and then connect in person. So, you know, really appreciate for you providing that information. Hopefully, this will eventually, you know, we'll eventually have a directory of, you know, services and links.
Thank you all for you know, watching the show and checking it out. You know, continue to keep coming back. We're just getting this thing going. So you know, your guys' participation is huge, and we want to thank everybody for watching. You know, the show as we continue to launch LEARNin Carlsbad. I think it's only gonna get bigger and better.
100%. So if you're watching this, you might not, and you're not necessarily in Carlsbad, LEARNin Local Live, LEARNin Local Academy is you know, is a platform where we're able to create and connect with professionals, local business professionals and real estate professionals like Aris, Mr. Carlsbad. And we're actually, again, trying to, you know, create that voice for them such that, like, you know, that they can be the person that the city depends on. So if you're looking to do that for yourself, make sure you check out join.learninlocal.com. And we hope to catch you on the next LEARNin Carlsbad Live. Aris, thank you so much, man.
Thanks for
next time, we'll, you know, maybe not next time, but we'll absolutely work on getting you one of the events with you and the guitar playing.
Oh boy, no pressure there. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for the show. Thanks for making it happen. See you next week.